On this episode of Teachers Off Duty Podcast, we talk about special skills teachers have that most people don't know about. We're talking about walking backwards. We're reading all sorts of handwriting, upside down, left side, right. It don't matter. We're talking about teacher looks and the best acting you've ever seen. Check it out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Teachers Off Duty Podcast. That's right, Board Teachers Comedy Tour Takeover. It is your man, KC Mack. Who do we have over here?
Yoder in the house.
He's back, baby.
Caffeinated.
Who we got over here? Bye-bye.
HTV,
Honest Teacher Vibes. Yeah, giving out the wonderful Honest Teacher Vibes. And we've been kicking it all month, man.
Chilling.
All month.
Chilling. Living our best life.
Month. So good we had to do an additional episode for the people.
Period.
Had to.
Cinco basis.
5 of them.
I'm back again. We outside.
No, I'm pretty sure
So
we're
aggressive.
inside.
So aggressive. No, but I had a wonderful time, man.
Stop
It's been
capping.
a wonderful time.
We have
and
had
I'll
a good
tell you
time.
who else is going to have a wonderful time.
Who?
The people who attend the Board Teachers Comedy Tour.
Absolutely.
That's right. 2024. We're only
1000%.
5 days away from our first shows
Woo-woo!
in the new year. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited. We already have sold out shows already.
Turned
That's
up.
right. And another big thing that I'm so excited about, we are taking the road
To
across
Canada.
the border. I was going to say overseas, but we don't have to cross
We're going
no seas.
international.
We're going
Taking the
there.
road.
We're going international. There it is. Thank you.
Coming to Canada.
Going to Canada. Ontario, Canada, we can't wait to see you
Yay.
guys, man. It's going to be so amazing. I've never been to Canada before, so I'm so excited.
Get that poutine.
The what?
Poutine. You
What
don't know
is
about
that?
poutine? It's like cheese fries, but like they have like cheese curds with gravy on them.
Oh, man. Okay. I want some of that poutine.
Come on. Get that poutine.
Can you spell it?
Poutine.
Poutine.
Oh. Like pouting?
Like, yeah, kind of like that.
But
Pootie-
with a different
Pootie Tang. It's one of my
Not
favorite movies.
Pootie Tang.
Stop it.
Water time.
What a time. But listen, man, we're going to be in a lot of great states outside of being in a wonderful country as Canada. We're also going to be in the states of Maine, Massachusetts, Texas, Florida, Vermont, New York State, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. Make sure you get your tickets if you want to know where. The link, if you're watching us on YouTube, the link is right there in the description. If you're listening to us, hey, just make sure you guys follow us on all our platforms, Board Teachers, Teachers Off Duty Podcast. We're going to definitely give you that information because we don't want you to miss out.
It's fun. Like legit, we have a good time at our show.
Yeah, bring your
Yes.
besties. You deserve a
turned
night
up.
out. Let's get some fun. Let's do some laughter. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Teacher besties.
I love the tour. It's fun. It's a fun. I'm so
Period.
happy to be a part of it. It's a great.
It's fun.
It's a great
Except for
experience.
when you fell off the stage.
Oh,
That was an accident, though.
Oh,
If I were you, I would be really sad.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm glad you said that because that actually walks us into
Oh
our.
gosh, Casey.
It walks us into our episode
Does it though?
topic today, which is special skills teachers have that most people do not. Now, Honest just said, she said the time that I fell off the stage, I did. We was in Las Vegas. Let me just say, first of all, the room was dark. I'm just going to say that. The room was dark. And
I think you would have failed if it was well lit.
probably so. And I did this thing where I had to walk back. I usually do this thing where I like reverse the show. So I actually was walking backwards. Now, special skills that teachers possess and most people don't is the fact that we can walk backwards.
Not you, Case.
No, listen. No, because even though I fell off the stage, I did not fall down off the stage.
But you landed on
I
your
landed
feet,
on my
though.
feet.
How?
Teacher skills, baby.
Okay.
Guys,
10
he's a
toes
teacher
down.
skills.
10
Like
toes down.
Speed and
And
reflexes.
listen.
Reflexes on point.
And let me tell you
right.
something else, what my teacher skills did. I was able not to damage none of that expensive equipment. Because, you know,
Ooh.
as a teacher, I can't afford it. Skills.
Can't pay for this stuff.
Budgeting. Even on accidents. I budget even on an accident. So, teacher skills.
Budget even on the accident.
That's a great skill, man. We just, I'm telling you, this is like my equilibrium was just perfectly, I don't know.
I-
I,
I-
just
reflexes.
could not fall.
Reflexes.
I was scared,
It's like
though.
we turn
Yeah.
into Daredevil. We have like this sonar built in.
Exactly.
Because I've hit a few desks and I should have fallen.
I've tripped
but I
over a
didn't.
lot of book bags.
Yes.
Yeah.
And didn't fall.
But there's a skill there. There's a skill there.
Teachers have a lot of special skills for real.
Oh my
Like I
goodness.
think people underestimate the amount of things. I don't think we realize sometimes the skills that we have.
That's true.
What's your number one skill that you know you have?
Teacher face.
Teacher face? Mm-hmm. Oh, what's the teacher
Like
face?
the quit playing with me face.
Mm-hmm.
Look into the camera right now. Get that camera the teacher face. Whoa. That's a...
Sometimes I don't even have to use my teacher voice. I can just give the.
Proximity.
Let me work on my teacher face. Hold
Go
on.
ahead. Let me
My
see.
turn.
Let me see yours.
Okay.
What is your eyes twitching? Are you trying to figure out what they're doing?
No. Okay. What am I supposed to say with my face? Stop it. Okay, hold on.
Quit
what
playing.
am I supposed to
Quit
say
playing.
with my face?
Is that a good one?
Okay, let me set the scenario for you. Okay. A kid told you, well, I can't say that part, but a kid said something very derogatory to you after they told you to shut up. Give the look that you. Right! Thank you. That's the face. That was the face. I'm just trying to put you in the scenario
That's it.
to help you make the
'Cause
face.
I was definitely cursing in my
You
mind.
went there. You went there.
It's like you gotta have the face.
Do you have a teacher face?
I have
Yeah,
face.
yeah, okay.
Ooh, that says now you already know what you're supposed to be doing. Get him.
Okay.
Oh, not the look up and
Oh, with the head nod?
Oh.
With the little slightly eyebrow raise?
Oh,
Nice
not
touch.
the people's eyebrow.
Nice touch. Nice touch.
And then you add that with they know I'm counting because I'm doing that count in my head. That one Mississippi. They
What
know
you
that
counting for?
I'm counting because if they
So-
keep messing up and I get to 10, I take 10 seconds off their recess or I take 10 seconds off the end of the day.
So do
Ooh,
it again.
serious.
I'm
Calculating.
gonna try to portray what the kids should be thinking when they see that face. Okay, here we go. Hold on.
I got
Here we go.
scared.
Man, I could do whatever I want to do.
Oh.
Not with the eyebrows up though. I better sit down. Never mind.
I have that
The
dark-
eyebrows gave it the edge. I'm telling you. Eyebrows took it to the next level.
Hey, I don't even care. The most serious teacher or the most playful teacher. Everybody got a teacher face.
That's it.
Like
Okay.
everybody got a teacher face.
What's this face right here? This is one right here. This one says.
Somebody that says something funny, but you can't laugh because it's inappropriate. But I'm only human. So I bust out laughing.
Exactly.
That's the worst though. Like that is legit a skill.
Yes.
Because you really have to exercise some restraint not to bust out laughing because you
Yes.
know it's not gonna be. You can't laugh, but you also don't. Why would you say that? Go outside. God, leave that. Get out. Go
And what do you
outside.
immediately do? You text your teacher bestie like, can you believe
Let me tell you.
what Amanda just told Charles? First of all, is there anybody got Amanda and Charles in the same classroom? That just sounds so
Surely
made
there
up.
are.
Just sounds so made up.
Sounds made up. I haven't seen a student named Charles in a long time. Is that you know the names be a little unique.
I haven't either.
Yeah,
I haven't
the
seen
names
Charles
are
in a
little-
minute. That's
Yeah, I haven't seen a Charles in a little minute.
How do you outgrow
seen
Charles?
Charlie. Chuck.
Charlie. I've seen
Oh, I
Charlie.
had a
I've seen Charlie.
I had a Charlie.
I've seen
I
Charlie.
had a Charlie.
One of our other skills is deciphering handwriting.
Oh,
yeah.
That
You
come in
have to be-
handy. Like I'll be at an open mic sometimes, and the host won't know what the name is. I'm like, oh, give me that paper. It'll be upside down,
I'm a teacher,
and I'll
I got
still
this.
read it. Because I had terrible penmanship. Sister Doreen in first grade told me I wouldn't
Sister
amount
Doreen.
to nothing.
Oh.
Because I had terrible penmanship. I said, sweetheart, I'm going to be a doctor, okay?
Okay,
Get a
'cause they write
signature.
real
And first
bad.
of all, Sister Doreen, you
That's a
won't
terrible
amount
thing to
to
say.
anything. Anything.
Casey, we don't use proper grammar
I
on
surely
here.
don't.
Okay, I'm about to say, don't even start there.
We're code switching
want
right now.
nobody
Off
in-
duty, we're
Here
code
we
switching
go. So I
right
want
now.
nobody in the comments. Are you guys real? Somebody's grandma in the comments right now. Are you guys really teachers
Yep.
talking
Hey,
like
man.
that? Are
Yes.
you teaching the students
Yes.
speaking like you're not using proper grammar?
But that's the other. That's one of our other skills, code switching. Because like we can interpret the slang. We know if they
Yes.
answer us in slang instead of like making them feel bad about it. Like I had a teacher that every time he saw me, he'd be like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'd be like, "Good." He's like, "You're not good, son. You're well."
Sir, shut
And I'm like,
up.
you know what I meant. You know what
Can I
I
go
mean?
to the
Like,
bathroom? I don't know. Can you?
yeah, like
May I go to the bathroom?
We code
please?
switch. We know when it's an appropriate time that we're teaching a lesson, grammar
Right,
applies.
exactly.
But we also know that language is descriptive and prescriptive.
You better tell them
Exactly.
as
So,
a language
ooh,
teacher.
tell
if you want to come at me and
Come on.
challenge
Say it,
me,
bro.
You better know what you're
you
talking
better
about.
be careful.
Well,
If you're gonna speak on it, you better know about it.
That's right, because
about
descriptive means we should speak according to rules, right? But with the reality is we don't. The reality is we have a rhythm. We have a way we
Because
speak.
there's something called colloquialism.
Let me reverse that. I gotta rewind that. I reversed them. Somebody's gonna call me on that. So I'm gonna
don't matter.
What?
The prescriptive is the one that says you should say well and never good. Descriptive is how we really talk.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
I
So
had to
then
correct
if you say
myself.
no cap,
I misspoke.
like if I say, hey, you telling a lie, and the
That's-
kid be
that's-
like, no cap. That don't mean
Yeah.
they want you to take your hat off,
Right,
Casey. That
right.
mean no cap.
Oh, they hate when we say
That's
stuff like this.
descriptive.
They hate when we say stuff like, my bad. You're speaking like the students. Man, that's...
You heard what I said. I
We gotta
said my
relate to
bad.
them though.
Exactly.
We gotta be in their world for a minute so that we can bring them to ours. Right? That's
Bring
Exactly.
bring it home.
And let's be
Bring it home.
honest, sometimes their world is fun.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. That's why I have to work
yeah.
so hard not to laugh at what they just said, even though they shouldn't have said it.
It's
And like,
hilarious.
that's another point. We're like master navigators because we do the lesson's
Oh,
the
master.
lesson's gonna go somewhere, but you know how you're starting it, you know where you want it to end.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta let it be, you gotta let
Yeah.
it move a little bit because kids have to be able to manipulate and do a little bit of discovery. They gotta play with it. They're gonna try to get you off track. I mean, my favorite
They
thing.
get me off track all the time. ADHD
We used to do that to my Spanish teacher. My one
off.
buddy, every time he would get called on, all he would say was "como serpente," which means "I eat snake." That was his answer
What
for
in the
any.
world?
She could ask him how he was feeling, and all he would ever say to her was "como serpente" because it would get her so mad, and she would get so mad that she wouldn't teach for the next 10 minutes. And we get to
Whoa.
relax and chill out while she yelled at him. The rest of us could just hang out.
She held there for 10 minutes?
So he,
yeah, she would. She would go at him for like
Golly.
10 minutes.
So he would just say that, como
serpente. But he
Como
would say it like
serpente.
really obnoxious.
Oh, gosh.
Como serpente.
Did she know it meant I eat snake?
Oh, yeah.
And so she just got mad.
And she would just get mad at him, but then she would just yell at him. But she was just wasting. He was doing it
On
because
purpose.
she knows.
She probably was like, I do too, son. I do too.
But she was a new
Can't
teacher.
use
She was
that.
a
Most
first-year teacher.
I'm about to say most teachers we got
Definitely take that
out. Not most teachers, but
Yeah,
a
but
lot
you
of
know
teachers
sometimes
we
when
can-
you're not on your game and that kid pushes your buttons, even if you're like a really good one,
1,000%. That's all of us.
you could have a misstep and go off.
all of us.
But
all of us.
generally, we're good navigators. Like if a kid
Yeah.
tries to take, I could roll with them for a minute and bring them back to where I want. I'll let them think that they're taking me somewhere.
Yeah.
But then I'm
We're
gonna
gonna bring it
drop
home.
drop some knowledge on them when they didn't see
Yeah.
it coming.
Let me drop this knowledge on you.
You know what I'm
right
saying?
quick.
It's like a boxing match. They put their gloves up, but eventually they're gonna drop them. And when they drop
You
them,
gonna pop 'em?
knowledge.
You gonna drop them and pop them? Oh, you dropping knowledge.
I'm dropping
not,
knowledge.
I was like, dang, you
It's
swinging
a
on kids.
proverbial.
You know what? Do y'all ever take up? I love finding the little juicy love notes on the floor. Like how
They
you
still
done wrote?
happen? I thought they would all be digital now. You're finding
No way, dude. These kids, they still write they
look
little
at
love letters
that.
to each other.
chivalry's not
I'm
there.
like, so you can write a paragraph. You just didn't want to write one for the topic
Yes.
I was asking you to write about. But this is this is good.
So the special skill would be that we still are humbled enough to be nosy.
I'm nosy. I am so nosy.
Would you read it in front of the class?
No.
Nah, yeah, I wouldn't do
I don't.
That's embarrassing.
I did that my first year teaching, and I was like, no, I shouldn't do that.
Yo.
It was a learning experience. I don't read in front of class anymore.
I have a confession. I actually took one of my students' love notes that he wrote to a girl, and I'm not gonna lie. This man was dropping so many lines. I stole a few of them.
Hey man, that's good. I'm gonna
I'm
use
for
that.
real. I'm
gonna
like, I'm
use
for
that.
real.
I'm gonna use
What he
that.
was saying, I was like, oh my God, that's good.
Hey,
Took my dating game up to here.
a sixth grader really helped me. No, I took up
Thank you,
like most of the. Oh my gosh! Now, thank you, Keith. Keith, wherever you are right now, you helped a life. No, most of the time, like the sixth graders, the notes I take up, theirs are like super. For the most part, theirs are like super chills. I took up one the other day, and it was super cute, like real, like just little puppy love. And the girl was like, I'm sorry. The girl wrote the note and was like, I'm so happy we're together. Da 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 da. And the boy was like, you spelled my name wrong. Like that was his only response. And the girl was like,
Boys be clueless.
she said, they do. She said, I'm so sorry I spelled your name wrong. Are we still good? And she put yes or no, and he circled yes. And I was like, that's all you said. Like, you gotta say something else other than like she's telling you this stuff, and your response was you spelled my name wrong. And then she said,
that's
"Are
about
we
right.
good?" And you said yes. Like, come on, man. Like, a little bit more. Ask the kid why he didn't call a girl back for 2 weeks. That man said, because I was fishing. For 2 weeks? For 2 weeks. You was fishing.
Fishing for a lie to tell you.
This kid was telling me he really was fishing. He was fishing.
I think another skill that I know I possess is the being able to see tons of faces. You know, like hundreds. Like when I was teaching at elementary, I mentioned a couple episodes ago, I think I had 300 kids for semester 1.
Golly, that's a
and then
lot.
I switched and all of a sudden had 300 new kids that I would see throughout the week because it was a once a week special. But like the ability to see these names, and then like 19 years later, I'll see kids out. Like I was at a Longhorn with my family, just sitting there enjoying my steak, and this kid comes up to the table and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Yoder, I just want to let you know I have a paving business now, and I use Spanish all the time." And he's talking, and I'm looking at his face, and I'm like, and at first it was like 16 years ago that I had this kid,
Right.
and I'm looking at him, and all I could think was, I looked at him, I'm like, you did motocross. That's all I could remember because he was like a professional. He was like, in high school, he would leave early because he was like, and he would come in with broken bones all the time. And then as I remembered that, I was like, Matt. And then as soon as I got that, I remembered his name. It just took me a minute, but I had to because it was
Make the
it was in the
connections.
archives. I had to go to the
In the
archives. It was like using the
archives.
Dewey Decimal System to remember his name. But like when you make connections with kids,
Yeah.
like that, I knew something about him, and that
Yeah.
was the most important thing. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
that's how we remember their names.
And yeah, 'cause it's almost like, did you ever watch The Office and Michael Scott's like doing the thing about how he remembers people's names, but he's like, Baldy Bill, and he's like, it's like terrible. But like,
Michael Scott's like the worst boss
I know,
ever.
it's so terrible. But like this, I was legitimately I was like, I know this kid. You know what I mean? Because like you are, I feel like it's a family. When I'm in there, like I went to 6 different schools as a kid, and so I felt like I never
gosh.
had like a connection. And so like being at the school I've been at for like 19 years now, like feels like home for me. So it's
Been at the same school for 19
Yeah.
years?
a student
boy.
taught there.
What?
And then they just and then I just stayed.
You pretty much run that ship.
So it's just like for me, it's cool
Real
just because
tough.
like I went like so much, and everybody's like, "Oh, were you an Army brat?" I'm like, I was a Salvation Army brat. We were just poor, you know what I mean? Like we were moving around, but
Right.
that was the reality of it. But like you got to go through that. But I think it's made me just a better in general because I'm so easy to go into a new environment, make
Right.
friends, know what the deal is,
Yeah.
because you've been through a bunch of first days.
Golly.
So I used to make it a point to where I can remember my class's names on the first day.
That's a good skill.
That now
'Cause
that
I
is
want
a
them
good
to
skill.
automatic- and
'cause
I mean, of course, I would do
the
it.
first day I
would do
struggled.
it several exercises in the class where I'm going, you know what I'm saying, and
Yep.
add and make it kind of like a little game. But by the time of the end of that period, I would have everybody's name memorized.
I
you
am
know what I'm saying?
ashamed to say it
You're not
takes
good at it.
me
Takes you a
a
while.
long. I mean, I have 115 kids, but I know you had like 300. I'm not gonna lie, it takes
Well, I
me a
didn't
little
get-
minute
yeah.
to remember their names.
The one skill I had when I was really young, I coached middle school baseball, and I coached 7th, and the other guy coached 8th. We did it together, but like we'd have 3 days of tryouts, and you'd have
Dang,
100
tryouts
kids.
are
You'd have like 100 kids come out, and it's just and so I made it a point that if I was gonna have to make cuts and reduce because it's one field, 2 adults,
Right,
Like I
that many
can't
kids.
have
Right,
that
right,
many-
right.
So like I made it a point that if I was gonna do that, I was gonna let you know I knew you. So at the end of the 3 days, I made it a point that I knew everybody's
Yeah.
name. That way I could, when I had the conversation with them, they felt like they got a fair shake. I had
Right.
seen who they were, and then I had a real talk with them.
Yeah.
Like especially if they didn't make it or whatever. And then I would coach and then I would coach the rec league. All of those kids, I would coach the league in the summer where they could go play and there were no
Right.
cuts. So it was like I was going to be like, well, if you're not here, meet me in the summer and we'll work on those
Yeah.
skills. You know
Turn
what I
up.
mean?
Time for the one time.
And then I knew their names.
When you was talking about trying to see facial recognition on that
it's like
ex-student,
Jason Bourne.
the hardest part about
Jason
teaching
Bourne.
middle school is, I see them when they're 7th graders, 8th graders, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Then they go off to not college. They go off to high school.
You skip
So
the
like
whole-
if I see them ever bump into them again by the time like they're seniors and stuff. Now some of them the ones I can remember if they still look the same.
Yeah.
But
some
by
of them
this
look
time it's
totally
like
different.
a 4-year gap.
Yeah.
And they have facial hair now, and they looking all
yes.
hit that growth spurt.
Yeah.
So they're coming up to me like, "Hey man, you remember me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think we went to college together.
We went to college together.
you look 40. You look my age."
Let me see your license and registration, sir. No way you're 16. Like you look like somebody's daddy. Let me see your driver's license. Speaking of names, teachers, special skill, seating charts. The amount of scrambling around that we have to
Okay.
remaking the seating charts and all that kind of stuff.
I guarantee you. See, a lot of these skills carry over, right? The seating chart.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, every teacher can be a certified wedding planner when they have to seat the guests.
Yes.
Because you seated in such a strategic way.
Oh my
Hire
goodness.
a teacher to do that for
There
you.
is some strategy in that for
Oh,
real.
hire if you don't want this cousin talking with this cousin or this in-law interacting with this in-law, hire a teacher.
Hire a teacher to plan all
They
your
will
stuff, baby.
set your thing up right.
Right, correctly.
That was like our wedding. Our wedding, because my wife's also a teacher, so when we had it, and our families are very different. I mean, we're talking you could not be more different. And we were mapping out. We had a thing, and we were just like, okay, this is going
they
here.
can't sit
Okay.
next to them?
Aunt Shirley can't go next to Uncle Jim. That'd be crazy.
Because Uncle Jim can't keep his hands to himself,
right.
so we can't. Aunt Shirley's always throwing paper, so we got to make sure that she sits over
Auntie
here.
Shirley throwing paper.
He did have his shirt off before the cocktail hour. So.
Sir, put your shirt back on. Y'all so crazy.
Grandma Jane's always talking back, so she must sit up in the front of the classroom.
And he threw that paper because he was like, I don't want to see this program. I don't think they should be getting married anyway.
So here's a skill that transfers that's kind of interesting is like, and I credit this to my wife because we had like 200 people. It was a mix of people who may never have known each other before. There were going to be tables of that. So what she did is she created a little scavenger hunt list and we put disposable cameras and it was like, find a picture who went to school with Jay. Find a picture, get a picture with someone who knew Amanda in grade school.
So they get
and
to know
it
each
forced
other?
them to
that's
get
pretty
to
cool.
know each other and it gave them something to do. And then the table at the end who had it, like, you know, got an extra hour of the bar.
Y'all
at
are
the end or
teachers
wherever.
because that is a teacher activity
You know what I'm
for
saying?
real. That is a teacher
but
activity.
it was so cool because it was either that or I tried to get her to let us do karaoke and she was like, if you think you were doing karaoke.
So
you
look,
think you finna get up there and sing?
you think you're going to sing Nifty 50 United States?
that same exercise, you could, instead of having like the disposable cameras, because you don't want to pass out the system, but if you wanted to have that done in your classroom, you could just have them get signatures from somebody who
They do that,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
Get people know.
yeah.
That's
But it
what
was
I'm
like
saying.
that-
That's
but
a teacher
that skill
activity
that
for
kind of
real.
transfers, and you're like,
yeah,
but that's
cool.
what's cool about it. Like we have all of these skills to like read a room. I mean, talk about it as a comedian.
Yeah.
That was the thing for me is being a teacher for so long and then becoming a comedian. I was like, oh wow, I can read a room. I
Yep.
can tell instantly. I can
Yep.
be in that moment because you can feel the room.
Yep.
And that's an important skill just as a human being.
Yeah.
To be able to read a room, know how people are feeling. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been first responder on a scene, not intentionally, but I happen to be the first person to pull up when an accident happened. And I feel like we possess so much empathy and the ability to assess and
We
be
can
calm.
act fast, like react
and just
quick,
that, like
reflexes.
that. I
Yep.
was so grateful for those kind of skills that just transfer, that are just, good skills to have as a human being. You know?
I feel like
Crazy.
we can carry on a conversation with 16 kids at the same time, especially kindergarten
definitely.
teachers, because all those little kids, they say stuff at this. They don't care who talking.
Right.
They talking over each other. You talking about his cat. You talking about his
Oh.
dog. You talking about his turtle.
No, when you said that, I'm only staying in the realms of middle school. I know you touched base on high school, middle school, and you're middle school as well.
school, yep.
But shout out to all you elementary teachers. Y'all possess a certain skill set.
Like for real though.
Oh my goodness! You like because when you said that, you triggered something. When you said,
Yeah.
especially elementary,
Elementary,
Man.
they got their own set of skills.
man.
I can't like the littles, the bodily fluids and the vomit and the wet shoelaces and this is sticky and like,
They have stomachs of steel.
they do.
Oh man!
You possess the ability to smell some nasty stuff and not throw up yourself. If you
Yeah.
can watch another person throw up and you don't throw up, if somebody
a
throws
skill.
up, I am throwing up too.
Right.
Like there is no
or blood,
question.
like a lot of blood and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh.
somebody's tooth then fell out.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
no, I can't. So shout out to elementary teachers because
Yes.
y'all the
Man.
real MVP. But they legit will have like a conversation with you at the same. And it's like my middle schoolers. It'll be like 5 of them trying to talk to me at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love y'all. It's exciting that I'm excited that y'all are excited to talk to me about what y'all. But y'all,
Right.
I am very overstimulated right now. And one of y'all gonna have to talk at a time. Can y'all regulate yourselves
Right.
and say which order y'all gonna talk in? It's like they don't even see each other there. I'm like, y'all standing right next to
Right.
each other, telling 5 different stories. My eyes are like, you don't see the distress on my face one of y'all back up. Tell the other four what line y'all getting in.
And I feel like we get a little bit of premonition. Like we see the future just a little bit because you can see that moment that kid's going to tip back on his chair. You can see the minute she's going to drop the water bottle.
And I done told you already to stop leaning back in that chair.
That's right.
So
when you're having those 5 conversations and you're like, hey, Jimmy, I see what you're doing there. Stop it.
True that.
We get that. The camera zooms in on our eye like that's so Raven. And we have visions of what's about to happen.
Throwback to That's So Raven. That's so Raven. It's the future I can see.
Okay.
I liked that show when I was a kid. I ain't
Hey
gonna lie.
now, what you say now? Okay now, here we go now. What you gonna do now? With Ray. That was the worst bars ever. Orlando Brown, I love you. But that was the worst rap in a sitcom intro ever. Okay now, what you say now? Everybody, let's go now. Let's go.
He thought that Joe was hitting at the time too. He just knew that he was in the studio. He was like, "Hey, this is fire right here." I don't care what nobody said.
Imagine when he was writing it. He was like, "Okay now, what you say
now?"
Dang, what I say next? Okay now, what you
We're gonna double back. We're gonna double back to it. I think that we also possess the skill of smiling when we really want to cry and yell. Like, especially sitting in a professional development and somebody who has not taught in 10 years and is disconnected from the classroom, who is also teaching from a PowerPoint, and you want to stand up and yell and be like, do you even know kids? Like, do you even understand how a school works? But you know you're going to get sent to HR, so you just have to nod and smile. That is you
just check out.
Your blood's boiling inside.
That's the other thing. You find ways to like. It's like if I was in prison and had to go to solitary confinement, you just find a way to let your brain like entertain yourself. You know what I mean?
Like during state testing.
Right. You know
I'm telling
like
you, when you can't do anything but walk around during state testing, like you can't have your phone, you can't be looking at a sheet of paper. There's nothing that state testing feel like solitary.
Like Tim Robbins in Shawshank Redemption. He was innocent of that crime, and he's in there all that time.
Yes.
You know, he had to go to a place. He had to find a way out.
I'm telling you, I came up with a whole story in my head for during state testing because I was so bored. I was like, because they tell you too during state testing, you can't like stand next to a kid for too long because it might look like you're trying to look at the test questions and remember them. So they're like, you have to constantly be moving.
Monitoring.
Yeah, so I'm with the active monitoring, but then I get paranoid. I'm like, oh my gosh, have I been standing here too long? And I'm just like constantly moving around.
What was it? 9,233, I think.
What?
9,233
What about it?
steps. That's how many.
I thought you were about to sing the Rent song.
That's how many
minutes are
24,600 steps.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I was getting my steps in. You active monitoring, man. I said, man, I'm gonna see if I can reach my goal for the day just in this. So I was walking all the way. So I was testing the room. That's all I was doing the whole time. And I was like, man, I got to make the best of it.
I think that
measure a year.
Why did I get a new line for you, that? I think we also possess the capability to literally multitask more than, and I'm not talking about like you doing 2 things at one time. I'm talking about you're entertaining a conversation at the same time, taking attendance, putting stuff on the board, answering a phone call or answering the intercom from the front office. The fire alarm just went off, and they got a fire drill. You got to count your kids at the same time. When you get back in the building, you got to make sure your kids, you got everybody. They got to go back to the test they was taking. You forgot to put in attendance. You got to grade something. Admin sends you an email about the data meeting that you got at 10 o'clock. I mean, like, this is from experience. All this stuff happened in one day. I was like... I mean, we literally can multitask. Like
I'm multitasking so much right now. Make sure we, doing with the show stuff, listening to you guys, engaging, responding, writing jokes in my head as we're listening, responding, making sure we good with the producers over there.
The time, it's a lot of
If
stuff.
I was only because I'm a teacher, I'd be able to do.
You would even time because like if I was doing stuff like entering grades, I know like when I would hit the save button, it was like a 2 Mississippi. So I'm like, okay, sip of coffee, and then I knew where the next box was going to pop up. So then I have the other one there because you're like,
because you get interrupted a lot too.
And you want to maximize your time. You want it's like washing the dishes. You just get into a zone with stuff. And you gotta like take care of yourself too. So like but you don't have too much time. So like I used to do, if I had a stack of grading that I knew had to get done, I'd like trick myself. I'd like play a game with myself. Like if I was, I'd play like a video game and I'd play like half an inning of baseball. And then as soon as it was done, I would grade a whole like class activity, or I'd like watch a football game. And when the commercials came on, I'd grade my heart out, and then the minute the commercials, I would stop and watch the game.
Well, you know what's crazy is like legit teachers, we can get a lot of stuff done in a small amount of time, but you know they say that things expand to the amount of time that's allotted for it. So like if you give yourself 4 hours to do something, it's gonna take you that entire 4 hours. But if you're like, hey, you got an hour and a half to do this, things expand to the amount of time that they're allotted. Teachers are also masters at literally getting back on track after being interrupted, because we get interrupted a lot. There's people in and out of our rooms all the time. Like it stresses me out so bad.
I love how you said that as you interrupted me. It was beautiful.
Oh my God.
It's masterful. I'm sorry, KC.
I'm just gonna be
teachers
quiet.
are the best at getting back on track.
I'm just gonna be quiet now. No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, it was hilarious.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna tell you what a student told me the other day. Because now I got an attitude.
Don't get no attitude.
Now I got an attitude.
That was a great skill. You did it. I'm just saying.
A student told me the other day that he Googled how to understand women, and Google said they were still searching because don't you dare correct no joke on me talking about us being interrupted.
No.
That's why Google's still searching.
No. I wasn't saying it like that.
You know I'm messing with you. We play too much.
Look at the people in the comments. Ooh, they were
y'all know dang well we love each other.
Ha.
Do y'all not get interrupted like so many times? Like either, I'm telling you, fire drill, somebody's coming to the class to get another student, somebody's being called to get checked out, admin's walking in with them loud keys for observation, something you didn't remember to submit. I mean, there are a lot of interruptions throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And not only like interruptions from like other people, but the kids, have you ever been in the middle of a thought and you're like, I just need to write this down or I'm going to forget. Mm-hmm. And a kid interrupts you, the thought is gone.
Oh, yeah.
It swam away. It's gone and you can't get it back. But we are good at managing interruptions.
Well, and then like even just like knowing something's gonna happen, some kid's gonna make a comment to some other kid, they're gonna break the room and the tension's gonna build up, and then you just gotta figure out a way. We break it, we segue, we move on, we get them back to where we need to go.
Yeah, some teachers can't control the room. I mean,
I think it's a skill over time if it's something you work at. Like it's something that we have. We just know how to. We have to have thick skin. You do have to have thick skin,
because the kids will just say the most hateful things, and they're like, I was just trying to tell you. My principal said that a kid told her she was walking around actively monitoring, and he was like, hey, and she was like, it was a kid she knew he didn't mean anything by it. Like he was genuinely like, I'm looking out for you. And she said it was when she first graduated from college, and she was like, you gained a little weight after you graduated from college, and she was like, I was still wearing the pants that I was wearing from college, but I really could have went up a size. He was like, but I was like, I'm on teacher salary now, I really ain't buying new pants. And she said I was walking around, and the student was like, hey, Miss, come here. And she was like, what is this man about to say? Because he just always would say something crazy. She came over there, he said, hey, yo, your meat hanging out.
Oh. And
she was like, what? And he was like, your meat, like her love handles was like hanging over the side of her pants.
Happens to me all the time.
That's why your student told you to put your jacket on.
Matter of fact, I think it's happening right now. Yep.
But he said but he genuinely was like, felt like he was trying to help her, because he was like, hey,
this was a student?
This was a student. She was like, he didn't mean anything by it, but she was a teacher that he cared about, and he was like, hey, somebody got to tell her, like.
My daughter always said, she's like, Daddy, pull up your pants.
No, kids are so honest. They are so honest. Peyton the other day, like, patted my belly, and she goes, Mommy, what you got in there? And I said, nothing, Peyton. Like, you used to be in there. And she goes, Mommy, what you got in there now? Go to your room. Matter of fact, go to your dad's house, because get out.
I'll tell you what's in there. Nothing, which is about to be in your stomach because you don't get fed tonight. Little smarty pants. How about that?
I'm like, I still have to wipe your butt. Be nice.
Oh, that's when you've reached a level of parenting when you don't have to do any of that nonsense anymore.
Nah.
But even I couldn't imagine the teachers at the elementary level, because like if you're a paraprofessional or you're someone who's helping in with the way little kids, you have to have a skill of, I mean, that's a skill to it's one when your own kid.
Okay. I have a good question. Question of the day.
Okay. Oh gosh, Casey.
Here we go.
Do you think teachers who have children make the best teachers, or do teachers without their own children make the best teacher?
I think a good teacher is just a good teacher. I think when you become a parent, I will say when I became a parent, I started looking at my interactions with the students a lot differently. Like, how would I want somebody to talk to Peyton? So
Correct.
you don't.
Absolutely.
I don't think necessarily one is better than the other. I think that when you become a parent, there's a certain skill that you develop.
There's a perspective too. Yeah, like you gain, you gain an understanding.
Right.
So in other words, that's what I'm asking. Like that. Like, does that certain understanding or new perspective help you to be a better teacher versus?
It helps you to be a better teacher. Yeah, I mean,
I'll play devil's advocate. On the other side, if I'm someone who doesn't, like I know some of the younger teachers, they have energy. They have energy.
got a lot, yes.
They're creating like digital breakout
so everybody
rooms. They're
brings
doing all
like
this
different
stuff
things to the table.
that I just
Yeah.
can't, because I like, you know what, I have to care for my family too. It's
Right.
like they're
Just like
able
you
to go
conserve your
home
energy.
and
Right.
spend extra time or stay late, whereas I got to get my kids off the bus. It's like there's different things, but I think over time you learn how to work smarter, not harder, and you gain the more years you had. I feel like this. Until 10 years, I was flying by the seat of my pants. It wasn't until like year 12 to 15. And, this is probably as a comedian better than anything. Like, it takes time. It takes reps. Anything. It's like it's a long. I compare it to like baseball too. It's like a thing that you have to have a lot of plate appearances before you start to really see the spin on the ball. You get to see some of those because everything's coming so fast.
Right.
And in order to slow it down, like a Spider-Man, like that scene of the first Spider-Man where he gets in a fight, like everything slows down, and then you can but it takes time. And so I think there's a skill with that, but I think younger teachers have this fresh perspective.
They do.
They immediately can build rapport maybe a little faster. But when you become a mama bear and a papa bear, there's also a cool connection there. So I don't know. I feel like you can make. I think back to your point. Yeah. If a good teacher's a good teacher,
a good teacher's a good teacher. But I will
But
like
you evolve.
1000% say like it changed my perspective.
Yeah.
Well, tell me what you guys think in the comments, because I love, like I said, we love reading the comments. Just do you think? I think I love the devil's advocate because it really does go both ways.
Yeah, I think there's cool. That's what I think is so cool about a school and a high school where you have different teachers. Like you think back in the day when we had the one-room schoolhouse, you had the one teacher, you had one perspective. Now you go through, you might have 6, 7, 8 teachers in a day, maybe even more if you have support staff. Like that was such value in meeting people. Like, like even coming here, I talked to you in my Uber. The guy was from Venezuela, and we were speaking Spanish to each other. And at the end of the thing, he's like, "Wow," he's like, what a great conversation. I was like, that's why I wanted to learn another language, because I wanted to be able to talk to more people. Yeah. And I think that's the cool thing about I teach at a public school. Do you guys teach at public?
Yeah, I teach at public school.
It's a little microcosm of society. You're seeing a little bit of everything.
Word. Well, microcosm of society.
Yeah,
They be using them words, boy. Boy, I got that semantics.
I got the student loans. I got the student loans to prove I'm overeducated.
I think we all got the student loans.
Right? I was like, but I think that's what's cool about it is even the teacher who you're like, oh, that person, there's still some value there. Even the teachers who I know people are saying, oh, so and so's mailing it in. They're still learning something from them. People are making a connection with. That's somebody's favorite teacher.
Yep.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? And that's the value. It's not like there's one to rule them all.
Hey, now you said something right there, boss, because we used to do this activity where students get to write their favorite teacher a little note, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll collect them all, and then you get to sit and read all the little wonderful notes, Now, there's some teachers that I was like, oh, they're never getting anything written.
I think every kid has a teacher like that.
Man.
They're like, you ain't getting nothing from me but attitude.
But look, like you said, there's somebody's favorite teacher still.
Yeah.
And I was surprised when this teacher had a few. I was like, oh my God.
Somebody likes you.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the same with kids. Like I used
still
to
don't like you, but whatever.
And don't even play. Do not play like y'all don't got teachers at your school that you do not like, because that's the people you didn't bring to the comedy show with you. You came with your teacher besties,
Boom.
and it's
You could
that
have
one
invited
teacher,
them.
right? It's that one teacher that y'all ain't tell because y'all don't
You
fool
didn't even
with
have
her
to
like
spell
that.
their whole name. Gmail auto-populate it for you. You couldn't even bother to do that. No, but I think too, even those people, Yeah, they are. They're somebody's favorite teacher, that they serve a purpose. And hey, maybe they're teaching them the non-example. And that's an important lesson. That's what I think about when I'm not a good parent or if I'm not having a good day. At least I'm teaching them what not to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't follow my lead down this path.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Which is a terrible motto. It's like, why don't you not do what you do, too?
Yeah, that's how I justify when I've made a ton of mistakes. I'm like, that's all right. Those first couple years, whoever had me, I'm sorry. I wasn't the teacher I am today, but I wouldn't have been.
That's exactly how I, like, for real, my first year teaching, like, I look back on my first year teaching sometimes and I'm like, eee. Like, some of the stuff, some of the ways that I was, like, sarcastic, I'm like, but it's like you don't know what you don't know that
And
you
know
don't
what?
know.
And I look back at my first year's teaching, and I like me more then than I do now. Because there's a certain attractiveness to ignorance.
Ignorance is bliss. Give me the steak in the Matrix, baby.
those days. I know too much now. I miss those days.
know.
Well, you know what happens?
You're like,
That's what happens with older teachers sometimes. I think the more veteran teachers, like, you forget what it's like to not know the information you're teaching.
Yeah.
And if you keep teaching the same thing over and over, okay, it's nice because you know the path, but you forget what it's like to step in the box and see a live pitch.
Yeah.
And then that's when those teachers get very angsty. Oh, the kids just don't, they're lazy now, they're whiz. And maybe that is the case, but I think sometimes it's a little bit of you've lost touch with how to understand that, that might be a hard topic for somebody to grasp. And maybe you need to present it in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's hard when you're old. That's why I think, like, if you can build a good rapport in a department and you can leverage some of the younger teachers to, like, help, and you can create an environment where you guys are learning from each other. But that's hard because I think sometimes like people like they click and they kind of separate.
Yeah.
I think another skill that we have, real quick, had to definitely get this one in, is our ability to be able to digest school lunch.
I ain't eating no school lunch
That's
ever
major.
again.
It's major.
I mean, but if you forget, you've never forgotten your lunch, and you're
No,
like,
I'm
you know
telling
what, I
you,
gotta
like
do
3
this.
weeks ago,
That's
I
a
ate the
skill.
school lunch, and I was in the bathroom fighting for my life. They had.
So
to
you don't
get-
possess that skill.
So
then.
when that
I
kid-
do not at all. And a kid touched my garlic bread, and I must have been hungry because I still ate it.
still ate the
and
garlic
then
bread?
I was in the bathroom. I was like, "Hey,
so
I
it
ain't
wasn't
trying
school
to go
lunch.
home."
It was that those pathogens and
No,
microorganisms
it was the
left by
school lunch and whatever pathogens or organisms that child had on their hand. I had to call my principal, and it was like an embarrassing call too. I was like, "Hey, I ain't trying to go home because I know we ain't got no subs, but I need about 30 minutes in the bathroom. Like because I can't get somebody to watch my class real quick and go, it ain't coming out. I need somebody for 30 minutes. I see his face.
So
And it was 30 minutes on the dot.
That's funny because we threw it in our faces in 5 minutes, and that's a
'Cause we had
skill
to
that
eat
you
fast,
think
'cause
is
we
a
had to
big
eat
skill.
fast.
I must have been going through some things that day when I ate that school lunch because I had 2 helpings of the spaghetti too. I must have really been had 2 helpings
See-
of spaghetti and ate the garlic bread the
So
kid
listen,
touched.
so no. So you still possess that skill. You just abused your powers.
There it is.
You was only supposed to have 1 scoop of spaghetti.
Yeah.
You now come on, we pushing it now. We
I
flirting
must-
with disaster.
I'm telling you, not flirting with disaster. I was like, hey, I said, Bree, you living on the edge. Don't eat
That's
that. I
right.
was like, I'm going through something today. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm living wild and free. And then I had to go to the bathroom where I was locked up for 30 minutes. I was not living free.
Yeah, I was like, how could something that we did damage in 5 minutes disrupt 30
Right.
more minutes of
Dude,
our time?
it made for an entertaining story, but my gosh, it was not a good look. It was one of them, but you gotta like
or
you
a
gotta,
good smell.
somebody blew up the bathroom before I ever went in there. So somebody.
Well, there's a skill we possess, the ability to I've held in gas.
Oh, I ain't holding
you
no
can
gas.
feel it. Like,
Hey, hold
And
no
you're like,
guys.
Boy, I held
I
in.
crop dust that whole classroom.
No, man, you don't
You
want
know.
to. Just in case it's stinky, you don't want to, take the chances because then you're gonna be
Or if it's
ridiculed.
loud, yeah.
One time, man, I held in gas so long, my leg went to sleep.
I held in gas so long, my leg went to sleep. This man was like, what is going on?
but I'd be like, I pretend like something was happening in the hallway.
Hold on, Somebody's calling my name. Hold on.
Wait. Oh, Mr. Jameson, you need to see me? Oh, okay. Guys, page 37. 37, second paragraph. Jimmy, you're in charge.
Hey, you hold it in long enough to give the instructions.
And you're at that edge where, like, if you don't get out right now.
Oh, my gosh.
That's
funny.
it. But again, the other thing that's not a skill, it seems like, oh, I can, like, eat lunch so fast. But then you go out in a real life and with people who are not teachers. And, like, they're, like, just getting their plates. And I'm like, oh, dinner was great, right? They're like, I haven't even
like, why are you
picked up my
scarfing food
fork.
down like that? Nobody's going to take it from you.
Man. When we went out to eat, who was that? We just on tour. Who was it? Oh, it was, I can't remember his name. He was another comedian with the tour. But we went out to eat at, I forget the word. Was it Earl Robbins?
You're killing it right now.
Red
Anyway,
Robin?
Sorry. Anyways,
Somebody named
important.
Robin.
The detail's not important, but here's the funny part. The dude ate his
Details
food.
aren't important. It's a funny part. That's what admin said.
Because
aren't
Liz
important.
has to tell me the name of it because it was her restaurant she suggested, so I can't remember what it is. But we was in her little hometown. But anyway, the guy, he got his food right, the other comedian. And so I remember everybody was getting their food. I mean, we looked around, probably had about a good 2 minutes conversation with everybody. When I looked over, his food was done. I said, hey, did you drop your food on the ground? Like, where'd your food go, man?
Did you drop your food on the ground?
He's like, no, man, I was hungry. I said, that's that teacher stuff right there.
Yeah.
That is that teacher stuff.
Yup.
My boy smashed that place. He's like, nobody going to take my food today.
Do I have to actively think about it? Like, when I'm out, I'm like, okay, man,
make yourself
dude,
slow
stop
down.
it.
You're like, you got time.
There's not a race right now.
You
There's
got time.
Human bites. Not teacher bites. Human bites.
Right.
Hey, I think teachers can teach a lesson while thinking about something else at the same time. Because you said
definitely.
something about that. When I was in high school, my English teacher was standing up teaching, and she just bust out laughing. And we was like, and she was talking about something that was not funny. The lesson was actually really boring. And so that's why we all like kind of perked up when she started laughing, and she goes, I'm sorry, I've taught for so long. I was having a whole nother conversation in my head while actively teaching. I was like, that's a skill.
I taught a whole lesson while listening to an episode of Game of Thrones in my AirPods.
Are you listening to music? No, I'm talking to a parent. I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone with a parent. I was on the phone with a parent. But we could come. Hey, we teachers, we literally can adapt to any situation because child, let admin come walking, they turn to a whole different person. Kids like, man, she was just going off on us. Why are you talking? I'm just so proud of you guys.
Yeah, that's right.
The work that you guys did on that test, I am just so unbelievably proud. Kid in the back, you said we all failed that test. Shut up. We communicate without communicating. We literally do have a built-in lie detector.
Yeah,
I literally can tell when a kid, because we know, like, as a parent, we know when our kids are lying.
When they
Our
open their
own
mouth and
kids.
start speaking.
That's right.
I know you lying because
And you just let them keep talking. You
I
let
know
them
you
keep
lying 'cause
talking.
you
They're
live
going to
with
tell
them.
you all the details
I know
that
you
you
lying.
need to know.
Right.
And you just give them the look. You're just like,
Their
really?
favorite thing to
that's
say.
the story you're sticking with.
Yeah, their favorite thing to say.
Okay.
They wrote me up for no reason. Why would they do that? Why would they do? Because they praying on my downfall. You praying on your own downfall.
Come here. I'm writing you up. Why? No reason.
Right.
Said
we
no teacher ever.
No. Like, she wrote me up for no reason. All I said was, shut up talking to me and mind your business. You always you do too much. Why would you say that? Why would you do that?
Do you guys have...
Maybe it's because they're like, your brain don't develop all the way till you're 25.
That's
Because
it.
I really have started thinking about this because kids will literally, there was a kid who swiping his mouth back and forth over the mouse pad on his computer. And I said, hey, bruh, stop. Like, don't lick the keypad. Like, don't do that. And he was like, I wasn't. I was like, bro, it's slime on your mouse pad. Like, yes, you were.
They said
and like later he was like, Ms. Richardson, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know why I said that. I think they
average person lies 200 times a day. You know what I mean? Like, that's
for real?
Yeah. Well, you can tell when a kid's off. Because, like, kids, they have routines. They like to do things. And you can tell when that kid's quiet or he's, like, acting out. And I had to do you ever do discipline team where, like, instead of, like, having to do lunch duty, like, you have to take the write-ups that aren't, like, super high level and, like, kind of resolve them. Like,
you do that or admin does that?
So no, it was a duty that we had for, like, lower, like, level 1 offenses where, like, a teacher wrote a kid up because they cursed them out. And so, like...
That's a level 1 offense?
So, like, yeah, I guess it depends. Or they cursed. Maybe not cursed them out. But, like, so then you would go to the student and you would serve them the detention. So you were basically just the messenger. But at certain times, you were like having to understand and be empathetic to the kid, but also hold the line for your colleague. And it was sort of like sometimes, but you would have to like relate to the kids. You would have to let the kids know you hear them, but at the same time, that's not an appropriate action.
We're like masters at reading situations. Like a lot of teachers, even if it's a teacher that's hard on themselves that you don't think you're good at reading situations. Teachers, what do they say? We deal with like 10,000 different like little things
decisions a day.
Yeah, we make like 10,000 decisions a day. Teachers are really good at like, you can not only can you read the room, but you can some teachers, not all teachers, can de-escalate situations. Some teachers, not all teachers. Some teachers
some like to put baby in a corner and then they wonder why they scratch.
I'm like, some of them y'all escalating the situation. It's a different way to handle this, but a lot of teachers, we really are good at interpersonal relationships. Like we know how to help the kids manage their emotions. We're also, and this is a hard skill, but we're also good at sometimes like teaching the kids, like modeling what we want the kids to do, even when it's hard for us. Yeah. Because I know that as an adult, like, when you put the kids in groups and they're like, I don't like him or I don't like them, da 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 da. Listen, there are some teachers at my school that I don't like them, but I'm at work. I cannot stand up in the middle of staff meeting and say, I can't stand her because she always minded somebody else's business. So I've told, that's one of the examples that I've given a kid. I'm like, hey, we're human too. There are people that I do not like, but there's a time and a place for things. Just because you don't like somebody don't mean you can stand up in the middle of my class and call them a B. Right. Like I can't do that. I'm gonna get fired. It's a consequence to that.
And you have to put them in those situations. And that's sometimes hard. Like I put them in group work where they're going to say, well, Jimmy did all the work or Susie did all the work. And you have to like
it's realistic to life. Like, you work with people
and you have to say like, hey, like or you have to like go over and have a conversation with them and show them that this kid can contribute. And you have to then kind of like model for them the kind of conversations they should be having. Right. Because if they're not going to do it, or if you avoid it because it's too hard, then that's a skill they're never going to have. Right. So we have to go into the trenches and say, this is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable for all of us, but it's an important moment that we have to have.
A lot of teachable moments.
And like, you have to be willing. It's like first responders, like they're selfless. They run into the flames. They run into the scene. And we're doing the same thing. We're running into moments because these are the kids that are going to make up the community around us after. And if we're not going to have these hard conversations with them, who is? True right. That. Otherwise, they're just gonna get everything on demand, and sometimes you gotta like my kids will be like, oh, I don't want to eat that, I don't like that. I'm like, where do you think that everything you eat you have to like? Your body needs all sorts of nutrients, and our minds need all sorts of experiences.
Right. KC, just listening. My God, bro.
No, for real, just listening to this, like I don't think people understand how.
Jesus, I didn't see him. I didn't look at him.
I don't think people understand how important it is that all these things we're listing is so important, and they don't treat us the way we should be. They don't give us the respect we need. They don't give us the pay that we deserve. And I mean, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to take the room down, but I'm just sitting there thinking, like, listening to all these things we're so good at, and nobody gives us the credit, and we're not appreciated.
I'm so sorry, but I
now,
real quick.
No, real quick. I'm very serious. These are real cheers. But it also brings in my other special skill. We're the best actors in the world.
Are you freaking kidding right now?
That's what happens. I thought you were right there. No, we're great actors.
And the Academy Award goes to
we all need it because we act like every day we're happy to come here. We act like every day that we like certain people. We know we don't. We act like every day that certain parents that come and they talk to us a certain kind of way. We act like we're not offended. Yes, we're the best actors on the earth, and that's what this is in scene.
KC, I have been your sister for 3 years, and I could not tell if you were crying.
Like that?
Yeah, I'm about to cry because I know you were crying for real.
I know,
KC.
it was very sad.
That's it. And there you have it, everybody. Another wonderful episode of the Teachers Off Duty Podcast.
KC, I'm your sister. I thought you were crying for real.
I can see the anxiety. That's why I had to stop it.
KC.
I saw the anxiety. Look, Jay kind of knew, but he was like, let me just be quiet.
I couldn't tell, but you was
your
eyes were red. You were crying. I'm still not sure that you weren't crying for real.
No, I know how to make myself cry.
What? KC, don't even talk to me for the
I think about the day that I signed that application to become a teacher. That's my sound.
Don't talk to me. I'm done. I'm not talking to you. As a sibling, that's out of pocket. That was out of pocket. I'm not. Don't talk to me. We're done. Tell the people we're done.
See? The greatest actors. Well, thank you, everybody. We hope you enjoyed Masterpiece Theater today. It's been Teachers Off Duty Podcast. Another wonderful month, man, with some
See
great
ya.
entertainers. Hilarious. It's been your man, KC Mack, with the wonderful
Jay Yoder.
and the talented.
Honest Teacher Vibes.
Man, thank y'all so much. Please make sure you guys follow us, follow the podcast, follow Board Teachers, follow the tour. We can't wait to see you guys, man. If you like what you see here, you're going to love the tour.
Bye, best friend.
See ya.